black worker. Um, Black workers and professionals are going to be the foundation of nationhood. Yes, we're going to have the activists, and the activists are going to be the boots on the ground, but the main base and foundation is going to be um, black professionals and black workers. Mhm. All right, fam, it's been 30 seconds. We are approaching the 2 minute mark. So today's video is going to be about black professionals and black workers. And like I said before, they are going to be the foundation of the nation. Yes, you're going to have, your activists, your lobbyists. That's what we do. We are the boots on the ground. But it's really going to be the workers and the professionals that build the nation, who are going to create the jobs, who are going to stabilize the economy, who are going to have the tax base. And I think we need this message is for them to join the BIO, and the reason why you should be for the BIO information. Peace, Mr. Holism. Um, I know there's probably not going to be a lot of many people in this live stream because this is a fairly quick one. I had to come up with this in like within an hour. I was busy all week with work, and I'm trying to. This is crunch time for me for classes. So apologies if I didn't do this earlier, but just taking these courses, it really takes a toll on you. Um, so yeah. So the message to the black professional and the black worker is you matter. My message to the black professional and worker is you matter. Oftentimes here in America, black professionals and black workers are disrespected. We are not treated with any respect. We are not treated with any dignity. We are paid lower than what we deserve. We are paid less than oftentimes a white person with just a high school diploma or even without a high school diploma. We are people who are in a lot of debt. We are people who oftentimes we have to take care of our whole family. Oftentimes we don't get access to loans. We don't get access to resources. We oftentimes have to rely on our own savings. They're not hard, Baruti. They're not hard, but it's just a lot, and it just depends on the teacher that you have. So that's why it's been a struggle. Otherwise, it's been a breeze, Baruti. But yeah, it's just certain classes with a certain professor that just really just ruins it. Peace to everybody again in the chat. In continuation, black professionals, businesses are less likely to be, advertised. It was just a few years ago that said that black business owners have to hide, the fact that they are black owned in order to get substantial revenue. And this should tell the black professional and black worker something. Why am I here? Why would I continue to be in a system that devalues me? Why would I continue to be in a system that doesn't give me my fair share of salary, does not see me as being an important aspect of this economy and to this country, but instead views me like I am a contagion, like I am a new strain of coronavirus? Why does this country refuse to call me doctor, like what just happened here in North Carolina, where a black woman was denied being called a doctor despite the fact that she had a PhD and despite the fact that she earned it? Why me as a black professional, I'm contributing to this economy, contributing to this tax base and to your salaries for you to pull me over, for you to call me racial slurs? Think about it, black professionals. I need y'all. We need to think about this, and we need to have a conversation about this, a deep conversation. And to you, black workers, we need to have a conversation too. Why stay in a country that models itself off of predatory lending. Why stay in a country that gave Black people subprime mortgages, predatory lending, and foreclosed your house? Left you on the streets homeless, high and dry. Why stay in a country that is against unions, that is against the idea that workers should be paid a living wage, that workers should be allowed to have democratic means of production? Why would you want to be a part of this? My Black professionals and my Black workers. Why would you want to be a part of that? See, to the Black professional, you do matter. You do matter to the BAIO. You matter to us because you are the foundations of nationhood. You are our future engineering firms. You are our future leaders of our Department of Transportation. You are the future of our Department of Homeland. You are the future of our Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Youth. You are the future of our foreign policy. You are the future of our international relations. You are the future of our diplomacy. I need my Black workers to understand that we've constantly said over and over again that we dream for self-determination to control our own community and control our own destiny. Well, the BAIO is that organization. The BAIO has been advocating that for years. We understand that in order to build a community, it requires capital. It requires us to work together, and it requires us to have the necessary skills. It requires us to have the doctors, the lawyers, the politicians, police, you name it, we need you. There is always a place for you. There's no such thing as what you can't do in the BIO and what you can do for nationhood. You have a community, and most importantly, you have an organization that matters to you. You have an organization that caters to your needs. You are the center, and you are not in a system that devalues your hair, calls you names, makes stereotypes about you, makes insensitive comments. Nah, you ain't got to worry about that. When you enter your own nation, the system is built for you. The system is built to accommodate you. Make sure y'all ask questions in the chat. I don't want to just do this with monologue, or like just few things. Like, get in the chat. We need come on. Let's have this discussion. Cause I mean, this is what we for. But when you have your own nation, you are the center of it. We accommodate you. For our Black farmers, we give them loans. We give them subsidies. We give them, investments. We give them the equipment. When you are our teachers, we give you your salary. We give you the teaching material. We give you the curriculum. We give you all the necessary resources that you will need to succeed. And that is why so many Black professionals and Black workers are struggling today. It's why we are going crazy. Let's be honest. It's why we're going crazy. We don't have an environment where we feel we can be our authentic selves. We feel there is not a place where we can be unapologetically Black, be unapologetically ourselves, and not be questioned about it. Everywhere you walk in, when you walk into your workplace, when you walk into your business, you're always asked, oh, can I touch your hair? Or, oh, trying to do this rap song, trying to empathize with Black culture and stuff like that. And you just like thinking to yourself, man, I just really wish I was in an environment where Mr. Holism said it right there. Entrepreneurship would thrive and prosper in a nation of our own. Like I said, when to the Black professional and Black worker, when you will have your own nation, it is centered around you. Your needs are met first and foremost. Like I said, we make sure that we give you everything. You don't have to worry about policies being, oh, you can't have dreads, oh, you can't do this. No, you would be able to meet all of the policies that you want, but also your constituents. We would give you the stimulus that you need. We would give you subsidies. We would give you loans that matter. No, unlike in our nation, we're not going to have predatory lending. Mr. Harlison says, I have a question. For the people that want to build in America, what are their projections for America as a country going into the future? They have none. They have none. Um, that's just a lingo. We just gotta call it what it is. The we can build in America is just a lingo. Because if you were to give them, ask them, what is your business plan? What is your plan? What is your, like how China does their 5-year plan? They can't give you an answer. They can't give you an answer. All they can say is build in America and buy blacks. They can't actually give you any documents, any policy proposals. They can't give you any projections that have income charts, cash flow statements, income statements. They ain't none of that. All they just do is, we just need to keep building. Hold up. I don't really know. I don't really know why we want that. I don't understand. Like I don't understand because I guess maybe it's because it's familiarity and like we just think of what's familiar. Um, I think this idea is, and it's really annoying, is the Africans don't like us and we ain't African. That I think is the biggest problem. Is you got too many African Americans that think if we go back to Africa, that Africans are not going to accept us, that Africans are not going to, accommodate us, and that just is not true. Like we saw the whole focus on Liberia interview, and focus on Liberia talks about Liberia should be the place for African Americans. So, I don't know why we keep saying that African Americans are not African. I think that's the biggest thing. I know it makes no sense, and you know, if you want to build in America, fine, but don't stop us from building in Liberia, and also most importantly, don't don't put your eggs in one basket, because I think that's one of the things that the people, the do it right here Negroes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is the truth. Hold up. But you to the people who say build in America, and particularly those who talk about businesses, don't put your eggs in one basket. One of the biggest things that you've learned in investment, or any investor learns, and I'm not an expert in investment or by any stretch of the imagination. Um, but last time I checked, when you are doing investments, you don't put your eggs in one basket. You invest in different industries. You diversify your portfolio. And the reason why you diverse your portfolio is because when you diversify your portfolio, it allows for you to be stable. Because think about it like this. If you, let's say you are in 2 or 3 different industries, and one industry doesn't go well for you, because you diversify your portfolio and your assets, because you have those, that one industry, yeah, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but it's not gonna destroy you. You're still gonna be able to stay afloat and be stable because you have diversified your portfolio and you have 2 or 3, other industries that are doing well. If you just rely on 1 or 2, industries, and then they go south, where are you gonna go to now? What are you gonna rely on? You have nothing to rely on. So that is what nationhood is. And that's why we want you Black professionals and workers to understand. You need that safety net. You need that place where you can go to do business, to be who you are, to really grow and develop. And that's what this whole live stream is about. It's about you, the Black professional and Black worker. Like I said earlier, you've been mistreated. You're burdened with student loans. You're getting undercompensated. Why not work together and build this nation so that you get what you want and what you deserve, where you are now the center of attention? You don't have to worry about, oh, more diversity in company names, more diversity in this and that, more diversity in this. No, you will have it. So that's the thing that nationhood provides. That living in a racist system doesn't help. It can't fulfill. It can't fulfill that sense of community, that sense of belonging. That is something that has to be, felt. I'll compare it to, even though it's a little bit of a microcosm, um, you know, comparing an HBCU to a PWI. I always made it clear that I wanted to go to an HBCU. And I understood that an HBCU was going to have a community. In the term ADOS or Black American with perceived associated nonsense makes that we aren't African. We need an affirmative term. That's ADOS and BA. Well, I don't identify myself as ADOS. Well, I identify myself as African American because that's the default. But I mean, technically, I identify myself as Liberian American. So, yeah, that's technically what I identify myself as. That's what I identify myself as. I don't identify myself as I identify myself with Liberia, and that's what should matter. Because Liberia was founded by us, and the fact that it was founded by us is what we need to do. And I think that's what we should identify ourselves with. Hold on, give me a second real quick. My bad. Yeah, yeah, we shouldn't be even identifying ourselves like that. We shouldn't be identifying ourselves, as Liberian. We should not be identifying as Black Americans. We should be identifying ourselves as Liberian Americans because Liberia was founded by us. And yeah. Peace. Peace, Vic. Peace, Bruce. Peace, everybody in the chat. But yeah, so yeah. Any other questions? Buruti, that's my thing on it. We shouldn't be using the term Black American ADOS. We should be identifying ourselves as Liberian American. But to get back to Black professionals and Black, workers is when you have a nation of your own, we can create unions, we can create political organizations, we can create, our own, associations. We can create, policies that match for you. And that's what we can't do right now currently in the United States. Currently in the United States right now, we have to factor in all other groups of Americans. I mean, and like I said, it requires us to have a multiracial coalition. I know that some people feel uncomfortable with that, but we live in a diverse country. This is not our own nation where we are the majority, where we run everything. No, we live in a multiracial system, and therefore we're going to have a multiracial approach. I know that to some of us who, people who are Black first or who are Black nationalists, that may be a problem, but it is what it is. You have to understand demographics, and you got to understand, where you at. And I think that those who want to build in America are going to have to consider that. But for us, well, since we are in nationhood, has anyone gone to on the ground, what jobs are available. Lift Every Voice, we're actually planning to go next year. If you want to come next year, you are more than welcome to be a part of it. Um, but that's what we're going to do. Peace, Olive, how you doing?
Hey, I'm on? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't even realize. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'll
but
give you
that's
a
what we're
break.
doing. Lift Every Voice. Yeah.
I'll give you a
I'll
break
be
so you
back in
can
a second.
do your thing. Peace, everybody. What's up? How y'all doing? Yo, did anybody see my last upload? Anybody in the chat room? I'm just anxious to get your opinions on on that because I actually lost some subscribers off of that video. So I'm just trying to get an idea of the vibe of what people were thinking about it, because some people were obviously offended by it, which I find absolutely hysterical. Because I don't really understand where the offense is coming from. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. I mean, if I think that my logic is sound, either you're going to be in a relationship with America or you want a divorce and you want to go somewhere else. It's either one or the other. So how can you be upset or offended by what I said? Because all I said was, if you're going to have a relationship with America, then you have to forgive white people. Forgive them. Stop it with the Black Lives Matter. Stop it with the woke shit. Stop it with the pseudo cultural bullshit. just just become an American. Embrace the title of American. Stop being black. Stop being Black American and ADOS and all this other distinctions. Be just as much of an American as a white person is. You call yourself American, they call themselves American, and that's it. Everybody just be American and come together. If that's what you want. But see, the problem is you got people with 1 foot on the water and 1 foot on dry land. And that's where Mr. Holism comes in, because I'm going to make you pick a side. And people don't like being picking a side. They want to stay straddled on the fence, and they want to pretend, they want to cover they up, like have this veneer of blackness so they can be accepted by black people, but they also want to have 1 foot in the establishment so they can be accepted by whites as well and be considered Americans. So I'm going to make you make a choice. And I'm going to clown you when you don't. Because the people that's made a choice, I really don't have a problem with. Like the Candace Owens and the Jesse Lee Petersons and the whatever. I mean, whoever these right wing morons and mouth breathers are, I have no problem with them because they're so out off of my radar in terms of influence and in terms of effectiveness and in terms of anything. I mean, people get offended by what they say, but I mean, goddamn, it's like if a scorpion bites you, are you offended that the scorpion bit you? If a black mama snake bites you, are you offended that it bit you? That's kind of crazy. Why are you offended? Just what do you want? What do you want? That's the reason why we keep saying, what is your end game? If we were playing chess, what's your end game? Or are we just going to be moving pieces around the board forever? Do you actually want to win? Because if you want to win, you got to have an end game. Yeah, Ronan. Ronan says, yeah, go to bed and Bath and Beyond, buy an American flag comforter and wrap yourself tight in it, which is basically what they want to do it, but they afraid to do it because they're afraid how they're going to be perceived by other black people. My thing is, get
Yeah,
over it.
like
Just
my
be an American.
yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'm tired of this, like keep criticizing, but you want to stay in the country. Um, I will answer Baruti's question real quick. So, Jabari, what do you think the perceived response in Liberia of you identifying yourself as Liberian American, irrespective of whether you are a Liberian citizen as of yet or not? A poll will be eye-opening. We could do a poll, but I would say, Liberians are aware of the connection between African Americans and Liberia, many of them. So, I don't think me identifying myself as Liberian American would be a problem. I remember on the live they asked me, pick four tribes that you think would match your personality, or based on like he gave me four. So he was like Grebo, Bassa, and like two other Liberian indigenous, groups. And I said, I'm Bassa. It was between Grebo or Bassa. And so I said Bassa. And he was like, well, okay, well, I'm this, I'm that, Darius is Bassa. And, that's happened to me when I've been in other Liberian organizations, like people giving me, a name, a tribe that I belong in. So I don't think there would be any opposition to, us identifying ourselves as Liberian Americans. Oh my God, underrated mod, stop. Buy two, get three free.
I remember that part of the interview too, when he asked you that.
Baruti also tweeted, not tweeted, oh my God, I'll be on Twitter so much. Baruti said, hold up, ADOS movement says it wants to call its constituency by the term American. The movement has said that the constituency is not allowed to be in actuality, but is permitted in name. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And it goes contrary. Why are you calling yourself ADOS anyway? If that's the case, get rid of ADOS and just say American. And why are you going for reparations? Reparations is divisive. Why do you want to be so divisive to your other American citizens? Like I said, get rid of all this black pseudo-cultural pretensions and just be an American. It'll be a whole lot easier for you. And the thing about forgiving white folks and forgiving America is not only do you have to give them for the past, forgive them for that, you got to forgive them for what's going on right now. So as you get abused currently, you have to forgive them right after the abuse. And you have to forgive the abuse in the future because the abuse is not stopping. So you have to be in a constant state of forgiveness. But you want to be an American, right? What's the problem? What's the problem with doing that? Like I said at the end of my video, the reason why you mad and the reason why I lose subscribers every time I make a video like that is because y'all know I'm fucking right. And you can't stand the fact that I'm right. That's what the problem is. You can't stand it because I'm calling you a bitch. So prove me wrong.
Oh, I did not think she would say that the ADOS scam has unraveled badly.
All of this pro-black woke shit is a bunch of bullshit. It's like slap boxing in the MMA octagon.
Let every voice is sitting in receipts.
Did they really have to be though? That should have been fairly obvious. All of these groups, the Black Lives Matter groups and stuff like that, has the BAIO asked any of you guys for money?
See, and Rule of Two brought it up point. He said MFs are amazed at how fast the Asian bill became law, but missed the fact that there were actually nations pressuring the U.S.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruler 2. I mean, this is really simple shit. We done went over this so many times. Like, I don't blame you, Jabari. What else is there to do a live stream on? What else is left? We've broken this stuff down.
You gotta find something to post every week. Cause I'm just like, yeah, there's really not much to say. Like, I've went over all the points. Now it's just action. Like, that's what we're doing right now with the Liberia trip. Now it's just action and reaching out to people because I've made moves. unlike these talkers, I've made moves, not only on the focus on Liberia, but a thing that's, I'm going to introduce new to the BL family was I've gotten in contact with um, one of the presidents at Tubman University in Liberia itself. He sent me an email back to response to my email. I've connected with the Liberian Studies Association. I've connected with these groups. I've reached out to them. I'm making moves. These groups are not making moves. All these groups are doing is they're talking
I
and
just posted
grifting,
the
and we
I
don't
just
need that.
I just posted the link to the Liberian consulate in New York City. So all my New York people, let's get together and let's go.
Yeah, like I, I don't think nothing bad would happen. You would just, like he said, get like a solid 100 or 200 of y'all to show up. Say, hey, yo, we part of the BIO. Have a discussion, have a conversation. If you in DC, do the same thing. I don't think there would be any opposition to it. Like I
Not at
said,
all.
because we had a private conversation about how, one of the producers of Focus on Liberia said, as an African American, all you should do is pay the $200 fee or pay the fee to get the passport, and that's it. You're entitled to the the benefits of Liberia. He said that he said we should not be paying, we should not be going through any other hula hoops because this is our country. That's what he told me personally.
Right. Right.
Yeah, ruler two. Yeah, ruler two. Like actually speaking to the president of them, Liberian Association of the Liberian Community of Greater Charlotte, the ULAA, the Liberian Studies Association. There's one in Houston. There's one in Colorado. There's an engineering one I'm trying to get into. There's a Liberian Business Association. These are all groups that I'm trying to reach out with and try to make this movement happen. And this is why I made this message to the Black professional and to the Black worker. This movement can't grow without you. That's why I said you are the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
We can be the boots on the ground. We can be the marchers, the activists, but it's the professionals and the workers that set the foundation.
And the thing that makes us different from every other group is that we're not suffering from that not so rare disease called white man on the brain disease. You don't come into our forums and we're constantly talking about the banging on the beast. What we talk about is what we have to do internally to get ourselves organized as a people. And I think that's right in the wheelhouse of most professional people. Most professional people don't want to come around a bunch of low frequency morons who are so at the beginning stages of this shit that they still on this angry level with white people. I moved on about white people since I was in my early 20s. They don't consume my every thought process. They're not a fear for me. Because my thing is, if we have an environment of our own where we're left the hell alone, we will thrive better than any other group of people on this planet. I'm so confident in that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Vic said we can talk about we can do that. I think we need to start. We might as well start leaning on that more because there's really nothing else for us to say. But let's everyone what we were saying was because currently that's where it is. It's really expensive for like a lot of this stuff in Liberia. It's really expensive. That's what he told me. But that's what he said should happen, and that's what it should be. We as African Americans should get first class citizenship in Liberia. We should not be running through hula hoops. No. We don't need to be doing none of that. So that's what he said for right now. He said Ronan said BLM had the perfect chance to reach out to African nations and the international community, which was fully behind them last summer during the George Floyd protest, and they did nothing. You had people protesting the Liberian embassy. You had people who were protesting at the Liberian embassy. And we wasn't like, wow, we got our brothers and sisters in Liberia, protesting. And it's in Minnesota, the largest Liberian community in America. The largest community in America is in Minnesota of Liberians.
Yeah, the window has closed. There was a window of opportunity. There was when you remember this, Jabari, because you're a statistics person. When George Floyd got murdered, Black Lives Matter had an approval rate damn near 90%.
Yeah.
The window of opportunity they had. We could have, let's say that the BAIO was in that position. Where in America, we had an approval rating of 90%. Do you know what we could have done with that? But what did they do?
We would have been making moves.
Yeah, they squandered it. Because it went from police brutality, and then it just became about racism in general. So then they started talking about Confederate flags. They started talking about statues. They started going back to old 70s interviews. They started talking about television shows. And then everybody was like, what the fuck is this about?
Rule of two. I don't even think that's the point, because my thing is, if you say you don't like them, then why do you want to be around them? That whole argument right there, like, I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't even make sense, because it's just like, if you don't want to be around them, then why are you here?
Motherfuckers are more hate focused. Oh, that's what you responded to?
Yes.
Oh, they like don't hate. If you don't want to be a,
I don't hate. Like, if they don't want to be a.
Why you think they so mad at me? They don't hate white people. They love white. Like Minister DeWoo said it best. They want to put the white man on the couch. It's like when a wife get mad at her husband or he fucks up, she puts him on the couch. She don't throw him out the house, but she just let him know, yo, you're gonna sleep on the couch tonight because you ain't acting right. But as soon as she's out of her feelings, he gonna be right back in that bedroom tapping her ass, just like this white man gonna be tapping their ass. And you can get mad, you can unsubscribe, you can do all that shit that you want to. You know I'm telling the truth. You don't hate white people. That's the biggest fantasy they got going. See, they want you to believe that because they want to push this pro-black rhetoric, which is, like I said, slap boxing in an octagon circle.
Hold up. And Baruti has a question for you. He said, could you elaborate on the response you made to your assertion that blacks should forgive America if they want to be American?
Oh, sure. Well, I posted the link to my video. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll give a brief explanation. If you are in a relationship and your partner does something wrong, you got two choices. You can get out of the relationship, or you can stay in the relationship and try to make the shit work. Now, if you choose to stay in a relationship and make the shit work, then you can't keep constantly throwing up to your partner the wrong shit that they did to you. Am I wrong? You have to forgive them. If you're not willing to forgive them, then what the fuck? Then get out of the relationship. See, this is the problem. People want to have 1 foot on dry land and 1 foot in the water. So my point is, what I'm doing is I'm forcing people to make a decision. Do you want to be in this relationship with white people and with America, or do you not want to be? Do you want to be divorced from it? Do you want to establish your own house, or do you want to live in the house with the person that's abusing you and trying to work shit out? So that's fairly simple from what my thing. That's what the whole thing about. It's not an assertion. It's a fact. Blacks should forgive Americans if they want to be American. If you want to be in this country and you want to be equal with white people, you got to forgive them. And you got to be in a permanent state of forgiveness, because not only do you have to forgive them for the past, you got to forgive them for the present, and you got to give them for the future ass whoopings that you're going to get.
Also, then you got to stop bringing up racism.
Exactly. And see, what's the thing that makes this ridiculous, Jabari?
I'm gonna answer Josh's question real quick. No, not right now. The referendum was rejected because of unpopularity of George Weah, but Liberians and diaspora are still lobbying for that, so it's still a work in progress. So I wouldn't be, as of right now, no, but there's always a way we can work around that and negotiate with that, especially considering that we're going to have numbers. I don't think for us on this trip it's going to be like 2 or 3, like 10 of us. I think it's going to be like 20, 30 of us. It might even be more.
I hope so.
We need to get everybody out. So we bringing this out. This is a year's advance. Everybody need to show up.
We need to look into we need to look into that, because if there's going to be that many people, we can probably get a good discount. with airfare and with accommodations and stuff. So we got to first of all figure out how many of us are actually gonna go or serious about going, and then use those numbers to try to negotiate something. So everybody's not coming out, so much out of their pocket. But that's another story. But Rudy says, Hollop, I want you to talk about people's negative responses to your comments. I think it's hysterical. Because I know what's going on. See, when I say forgive white people, black people who got sense have a natural negative reaction to it. In their deep African spirit, they go, what the fuck is wrong with Hollop? Are you crazy? I'm not forgiving these people for all the shit that they did. But see, that goes contrary to the bullshit that you're trying to push to us.
Yeah, I'm about to say you don't forgive them, but you're staying in a relationship with them. That's like
right.
That's like saying somebody hits you and they give you red flag and they give you chocolates, right? I'm just like, no, if I don't forgive you, we're done. Like it's over. Like there's no like coming back. You don't say I don't forgive you, but I'm still gonna be in the house with you, because the very first thing they're gonna ask you is if you don't forgive me and you won't accept my apology, then why are you here? It doesn't make. They're gonna be baffled because it doesn't make any sense. Because then what they're gonna apply is, oh, you do forgive me because you're still here.
And let's keep it real, Jabari. If they did all this wrong to you and you're still in the house, they know that they can tap that ass whenever they want to.
Oh yeah. There's no boundaries.
Whenever they want some ass, they can get it from you. Sound familiar? See, but they hate when I talk like this. They hate when I talk, and I love it. More people should unsubscribe from my channel. I'm gonna give a reverse book giveaway.
Here's my thing.
Go ahead, man.
Bruce Leroy, he says, Jabari, what do you think about Biden's plan to increase H-1B visa limit? Is earning a degree in STEM worth it when corporations can bring in cheap labor with more experience? Yeah, because this is for our nation.
Oh, like, yeah, this is definitely not for. Worth it.
Yeah, I'm about to say this is for our nation. This is for us going abroad. I mean, like I told people over and over again, if you don't feel valued, why don't you just leave? And that's that's the whole point of the whole. You weren't there earlier, but that was one of the things I constantly harped on in the beginning was, we're mistreated, we're underpaid, more unemployed, we're not getting the respect. So why not just go abroad and go be in a nation that actually values you? So no, it's still worth it because we're gonna need those skills in Liberia, especially considering that Liberia doesn't have a lot of stuff and we can fill in those roles.
Also, how do you get cheap STEM labor? Like, because don't you have to be trained to be a STEM professional? So how are they going to get
what cheap? I'm saying, I think what he's saying is because they come from like a developing country, engineers get paid less in proportion to what America is. Yeah, engineers get paid a lot of money in their countries, but if you were to compare their average salaries in India, let's say, or in Burundi to compare to America, it might be significantly cheaper. So I understand where he's coming in from that perspective. Okay, although I
got you. That makes but
but yeah, we're still gonna need them.
Yeah, I think it gets down to cost and benefit analysis. Like, are you getting your worth? Like, forget about salary, because it's not always about salary. It's about cost of living and quality of life. Because, like, take for instance, you make a whole lot of money in New York City, but your quality of life is not as good as, let's say, the South of Wyoming. You know what I mean? You're making a lot of money, but the cost of living is so high.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's similar to in Nigeria, why a lot of Nigerian doctors leave. And it's not because they leave because they want to go to Europe or they think Europe's so much better. It's just they don't have the equipment. They don't have stuff to work with. And it's like, we got the degrees, we got the education, but we don't have any equipment. We don't have resources. I need to go somewhere with resources, or I need to go somewhere where at least the government's gonna at least help or try and just
Right. Like, the government has to have that as a priority. You know, like if STEM and education is a priority in our nation, then we'll give them the resources that they need, or we'll try as best as we can. You know what I mean?
Uh,
But if your priority is, you know, overseas wars and making money for, you know, military contractors, then that's where your values are going to be, and that's where you're going to put the most of your energy. That's why it's so important
yeah.
to be involved.
Josh said, thanks, 100%. There is no forgiveness. Reparations and checks must be cut to Liberia.
Right. Right. I mean, that's a decision. If you're saying no forgiveness and we need reparations and checks being cut, then what we need to do, as a collective and in combination with the Liberian government, is petition the United States for them to make amends and repair the nation that they didn't help. You know, you played a part in it.
Yep.
You need to step up to the plate. See, now that makes sense. That's leaving the fucking situation and building up a house of your own. You don't keep your abuser in the house with you. What does Baruti say? Baruti. Perhaps the Mazungo attitude toward ADOS is be one of they can tap the booty at will, or one of I have an enemy in my midst and my security cameras. But so yeah, it's dysfunctional, no matter how you slice it. Why are we choosing dysfunction over functional? That's my question. Like, why are we continuously having
My
these
thing is,
discussions?
my thing about it is, why would you choose to be in a country that constantly show you they don't care about your education, they devalue you, they don't pay you your wealth, and go to a country where you can dictate things, where you can, be the runners of the society, where you run things, where you control things, where it's centered on you? Why would you not want to be a part of that? Because that's why I'm like, man, you know what, man? The minute I get like my degrees and my masters, I'm out, because I'm worth more, and I'm not going to be mistreated and abused because you're mistreating me. I'm not going to take that. I'm just not going to take it.
Yeah, like I was having a conversation with Ronan the other day, and I was telling him when I went to Rwanda, one of the things that this is a part of their infrastructure development is traffic control. And Ronan, that's his specialty. He works in traffic control. Ronan, if I could get Ronan a ticket for him to get to Rwanda, he can write his own. Like, dude can do. There's so many things that he can do with his talent. He can be like a consultant. He doesn't even have to do any physical work. You know what I'm saying? He can get government contracts. He can work for the government if he wants to. But he has that skill set that is useful. Same thing with Minister DeWood. Minister DeWood, electronic security. He can go over there and be a consultant to the government. He can work for the government. He could be an independent contractor. It's so much
Yeah,
bang for
and
your buck.
since you said electric security, I sent y'all that article in the chat about the Liberian graves being vandalized and not being taken care of. You work in electronic
Thank you.
security, you can prevent stuff like that from happening.
Thank you.
This is what we're talking about. Why stay in somewhere where you're being mistreated when you can go somewhere and actually feel like your skills are valuable and you're not questioned? Your existence is not questioned. Rule of two said you can't get alimony without a divorce.
Exactly. You want to stay married, but you want him to give you alimony. Nice. And this is a point that I had made before. Like I said, I'm at the copy and paste stage of my content where I've answered so many of these questions. I don't have to create new content. I just have to copy and paste what I've already said. What most men, when it comes to divorce, are so anxious to get away from that woman that they'll let her keep everything. I know my brother is a perfect example. And I know it's not just him, but other men. They've given the woman the house, the car, everything. They said, you know what? I'll give this to you and you can keep it just so I can get the fuck away from you. and they'll start from scratch. And guess what? 10 times out of 10, where I've seen situations where that happened, guess who came up or who got on the come up faster? The guy who left all that bullshit. Got a new wife, living fine, both of them making money, both of them doing their thing. And the woman who kept the house and kept the car ain't been in a relationship since she got divorced and dies and living alone. So it's like we're holding on to this shit when we need to let it go. Start over.
And there's nothing wrong with starting over.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with starting over.
Most men, like I said, will leave if it comes down to a relationship and they can't stand, or that woman is toxic, or they're afraid. Listen, I'm having dreams of killing this chick at night. I got to get out of here before something goes bad. And they say, listen, if that's what it takes, you can keep the house, keep the car, whatever. I'm going. And I'll start all over. They've gone and lived in their mom's house for a year and then got back on their feet, found another woman, and they've been building ever since. It's not some things, like I said, cost benefit analysis. How many people do that?
Rarely any.
It's like, can I go and get my hair done by somebody who's a professional, or should I let a crackhead do it in the street? The crackhead will be cheaper. But what's the cost benefit analysis? Everything is not about cheap or more expensive. It's about what are you getting for the money that you're spending? Like, take for instance, like I learned this a lot when it comes to clothes and shoes and stuff like that. You can get cheap shoes and keep buying them over and over again, or you can get an expensive pair of shoes that's going to last you for years. Now people say, "Oh, I ain't paying all that for the money for a shoe," but you end up paying more than that.
But it lasts,
getting
though.
Shoes, right? You keep getting shoes over and over again because the shit is cheap.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I tell people, like, I understand it's cheap, but like, there's a reason why you pay money for expensive headphones. Expensive headphones last a long time. So it's like, yeah, it costs me, $20, $30, sometimes $40, $50, but it lasts me for a good solid year or two.
Right.
Do you want durability or do you want convenience? Like, you have to think about that. And Ruler 2 said, bro, I've left broads with nothing but a trash bag.
Thank you. Thank you. Ruler 2 is on fire today. I don't know what's he's working on all cylinders.
If Ruler 2 want to get on this live stream, if he want to get on this live stream, we'll send him the link. We'll put it in, because man, he is on fire. I mean, because it's the truth. Like, listen, like, I'm just like, listen, it's not worth me losing my mental health in my thing just to stay with somebody. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna risk that.
No.
And I think that's what we don't realize. Like, listen, is it worth you losing your mental health? Because you talk about this self-care and stuff like that, and I'm like, we would need to be we will be having self-care and mental health, but we wouldn't be that stressed out like we are in America, because we'd be in a country that was intrinsically built for us.
Exactly. And we be in an environment.
I keep saying it again. If you got a car and you stop to the gas station, do you put diesel in your car?
Yep. That's the truth. If you got a square peg in a round hole, why are you trying to fit it in the round hole? Just find a square hole.
Ronan says African Americans are used to dysfunction because they've been purposely conditioned to accept dysfunctional as normal, which leads to this insane addiction to struggle with that.
Yeah, let me give you a story that I gave Ronan when we in our conversation. He's gonna know what I'm getting ready to say. I was telling him about to give you an example of dysfunction. I live in New York City, which is probably the most neurotic, dysfunctional place on the planet Earth. And in New York, you have to always constantly have your game face on. Because if you're walking around, smiling, unless you're white, you can do that if you're white. But if you're walking around smiling, people are going to look at you like, "Oh, what's up with this person? They must be soft, and they must be an easy Vic." So you got to constantly have your ice grill on and constantly be prepared for war. That's the mindset you got to be in when you walk in New York streets. So I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina with my brother, and we were walking in town. And walking toward us were these two dime sisters. They was a 10 by New York standards. So being that I'm from New York, I know how this goes. Like if I'm walking down and I see a fine girl in the street, you just keep going. She's going to ignore you. They said good morning to me and I got stuck. I literally couldn't get the words out. And I had to apologize to them. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just not used to that. I'm not used to that. That's what he's talking about. You get so used to dysfunction that you think that shit is normal. You get so used to war mode that you think that that's the mode you're supposed to be in. Trust me. When I see white people in Park Slope in Brooklyn, they ain't in war mode. You see white women walking down the street literally smiling for no reason. It's not like they smiling at you. It's just happy to be alive and be white in America. I had a brief taste of that when I was in Rwanda. And that's what we'll have when we're in Liberia. When we get that place to the place, when we get it fixed up to the point where we need it fixed up and get it up and running the way that it should be up and running. Because I don't care what anybody says. Are you going to argue that Liberia is the best that Liberia can be right now? Who would make that statement?
No one. Liberia is not even a tenth of what it was 40, 50 years ago. 40, 50 years ago, it was really somewhere to be.
Thank you. So people can't be offended by that. How could you be offended when we want to make things better? It's not about taking over. It's not about Bogarting and all of that. It's about working.
By the way, if you are against the BAIO in Liberia, then don't quote Marcus Garvey, don't quote Martin Delaney, don't quote Henry McNeil Turner, don't quote Amy Jaquez Garvey, Nina Simone, Maya Angelou. Don't quote anybody, because all these people was for Liberia. Like I said, you can't be for something and then quote somebody you can't be against something and then quote people who were for it.
Well, they're used to dichotomies. That's the reason why they can do that. Just like I hate America, but I love America at the same time. America has prime real estate. Yeah, America. I've heard the statement from ADOS. America has prime real estate.
What?
Yeah.
That was actually. Oh my. Go to Switzerland. Switzerland got prime time real estate. They ain't do research.
And who else? What other nations? Now, this is something I legitimately don't know the answer to, so maybe you do. What other countries have this eminent domain where they could just come and just take your shit?
Very few. The only thing that they can do that for is they would have to maybe in some developed nations, but it's a strict policy. So if they were to have your land, they would give you somewhere to stay. It's not like here where they take your stuff and then just leave you hanging. It's like if we need to use that, we'll provide housing or something so that you're not just left high and dry. America will leave you high and dry and don't even care.
Right. So this prime real estate you're talking about, even land ownership. My family has land in the South, and guess what? When a highway got to come across, what happens to that land? So come on, give me a break, man. It's like people, you want to stay in this relationship with this person that's whooping your ass, and you're trying to come up with every justification that you can to justify you being in that relationship and staying in that relationship. And how many of these live streams are we going to do pointing that out? How many? Has anybody got this shit by now? Or do we need to keep saying it over and over again? Because right now, what we need to be doing is building. We need to be making connections, organizing, getting involved, bringing your skill sets into the group so that we can move forward. Like I put out a
Drew
post
said.
on I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, what I was gonna say, creating surveys, like I said, what I'm talking whole about, creating brochures, creating flyers, having conversations with people. That's what it's gonna be. Like now, we're at the point where I'm at the campaign organizing. I'm no longer on the let's keep talking on YouTube. Well, we can talk on YouTube, but it's gonna be like strictly news, Liberian history, skills. That's primarily what I want to focus on. I'm done at this point where and then making the case the economy and breaking stuff down like that. I'm beyond the point of, well, why should we have a nation? No, I'm at the point where we already know why we should have a nation, and we're just making the case for it. We're just doing a campaign. We're done with this whole keep talking on and on and on, because I can't come up with no more live streams because I've literally said everything that needs to be said. Like,
amen.
It's already been said.
Amen. Welcome to my world.
Because I have to think every week, like sometimes at the end of the week, I'm just like, man, what is there for me to say? Well, I've already done that. Now it's just really just new to Liberian history and just like building skills. I mean, and doing or campaigning. That's really it. There's nothing else we can do.
I think the next thing we should do, or try to do, is have some Liberian voices on here, like people that's actually in Liberia that we can actually do a live stream with and talk to them. That would be cool.
We can do that.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool.
I can get a couple of people. I know a couple of people who are in Liberia. I think I can reach out to them. Holub and Jabari, here's a thought. Perhaps both of you and other skilled AAs will be useful in Lib/Africa, but would non-skilled AAs be useful at this point, or would Africa heal them? Your thoughts? Okay, I don't like when you said non-skilled, because what do you mean by non-skilled? Are we talking about people who don't have a college degree? Are we talking about people who, have at least a bachelor's degree, master's or doctorate or PhD? What exactly do you mean by that? Because there are a lot of people with bachelors and masters, but PhDs are rare. Like less than 2% of the world has a PhD. Like less than 2%. And most in the highest countries, it's 3.2%.
I personally think that if you have your arms and your legs and a functional brain, you're useful. I mean, because unless you can't be taught something, or you can't help in any way. The whole non-skill thing I don't get. Because if you want to bring your energy into the whole process of nation building, then I accept you. And we can find a way for you to do something.
And my thing is, you can train. You can always give people job training and training. Like, it's not like you can't provide them with that. Like, there's a reason why companies, they provide you on the job training, or this is like the couple weeks they train you, because I may be an intern, but I may not have access to all the knowledge.
Right.
Ooh, we could do that. Rule of two is just own it today. Interview someone from the consulate so you can get, official stances and thoughts. We can definitely do that, and I will actually try to do that this week. He said non-skilled African Americans, people who didn't finish high school, have no aspirations currently in the United States system. Well,
are they interested in nationhood?
Yeah, I was saying, if they're interested in nationhood, we can always help them out. Just because they don't have a high school diploma, I mean, you can get them a GED and stuff. We can always help them out with that.
Yeah, and because that's the thing. It's like people were telling me about, the guys on the corner. I'm like, the guys on the corner ain't getting no passport and going to overseas. So who are we talking about? Are we talking about people that's actually interested in the process of nationhood? Because if they are, like you said, they could be trained in whatever skill set they want to be trained in.
And my thing about it is, even let's say if somebody, doesn't finish high school, but they really want to go with us because they feel like they have an opportunity there.
Hmm.
Well, because you have black professionals, we can train those people who don't have a high school degree, or we can sponsor them so that they can go over there and help assist. Like, it's not like I said. This is why we have an organization. It has to be a group thing. It can't just be an individual thing. You know, you have to help your community out. You have to look at it like, okay, I'm over here, but for other African Americans that want to come over here who may be less fortunate or don't have the skills like I do, I can sponsor them, and then I can, train them and provide them for what they can do, um, and make them what they want to be. Because human capital is always something you can develop. You just need human capital.
I want to ask you a question, Jabari.
He hold on, wait. There are a couple things. Let's answer Ja and I don't know how to pronounce your name. Brennan. I'm just gonna say Brennan because I don't want to mispronounce your name. I don't want to be disrespectful. That's a silly assertion. No one expects 40 million blacks to want to do anything as a unit. That's actually true. He's right. That is true. It's no one expects 46 million to do anything as a unit. Yeah, he's right. You're gonna have different factions. It's just, do you have a common goal? There are going to be different factions. It's just, do you have a common goal? And so, doing anything like unanimously, like unanimity, no. Like, there's going to be some factions. It's just, do we have a common goal? We will need numbers for labor resources regardless. That is true. You can't just have college educated people. You're going to need workers.
I want
You're
to
going to need
address that.
workers. We're going to need co-ops.
I want to address that 46 million comment before I ask you the question. Name something that 46 million black folks in America are doing right now, collectively. So I don't understand how people think that 46 million, we're going to get all black people in America to operate as a unit and go to Liberia. That's not realistic. You can't even get 46 million black people to do one thing here in this country. And this is where they live. So that's just my point in that. But the thing I want to ask you about was, oh, God damn it. I just completely lost my train. Go on. I'll think of what I was getting ready to ask you.
Yeah, so he said, well, how will 46 million black people in America become citizens of Liberia? Like I said before, we were talking about it earlier, paying the passport, meeting, with the consulate, but really just, getting the passport and being entitled to Liberian citizenship. I mean, that's really the way that we want to become citizens of Liberia. Or you can do it the naturalized way, but since you're African American, we can negotiate a special deal because we have numbers and we have that connection. Ronan said, I didn't graduate from college and I could teach anyone how to do traffic data technician, which is my current position. People need opportunities to grow and thrive. Like I said, you can train people. You can always train people. It's not just having a degree. You went to a degree is great, but it doesn't mean everything. I mean, we still have to do tests and exams. Just because you got a 4-year degree, it doesn't mean anything. Like, even me as an engineer, before I can even start doing like engineering work, like real engineering work, and be a certified engineer, I have to do the FE exam, and I got to pass it, get like at least a 60 to 70% pass rate, and then when I get enough experience, I got to do my PE exam, and they do that because it's to test you on whether or not you really know what you're talking about. Do you really know what you're doing? I actually agree. He said, when you gain momentum, you'll be surprised at who shows up to help. And that's why, like, we have to start. That's why I want to do like the brochures and the flyers and the campaigns, and doing lessons on Liberian history, BAI news, because once you actually have that momentum, that's when really things change. They always say momentum shifts, and when you have the momentum, that's when you feel like destiny's on your side. Willow too, we need to have you on this panel. We need to have you on this panel because you are on fire today. He is just on fire. He is just on fire today. So Halep and Jabari, I assume you need just 5 to 10K African diasporas to achieve your objective, and I'm right about the scope of your sample size. Please elaborate. We need 5 to 10,000 to begin with, but we're going to need a lot more to maintain. 5 to 10,000 is a good starting point, but we're gonna need more than just 5 to 10,000. So 5 to 10,000 is the first wave, and then like we're gonna need like 150,000 second round. We're gonna need numbers. We can have all the education we want, but we gotta have numbers. That's what it is. We gotta have numbers.
And we got to make that process a really easy process for you to get into Liberia. That's a part of the whole reparations thing. It should not be where you got to be a fucking wealthy person to have the ability to leave this country and go over to the nation that this country helped establish. But we have to operate as a collective. That's what we got to get into our heads.
And the thing is, like I said, just sign up to the website. Just sign up to the BAIO. If you believe in nationhood, if you believe in Black self-determination, just sign up to the website. We would love to do more things. We are planning to do more things, but we can't do a lot of things if nobody shows up. Like we can do chapter meetings. We can do, chapter meetings in our own state, have reading books and have all of that stuff. But we can't, but we can't really do that if we don't have numbers. Baruti said, a collective Black people, 15 million, are probably wishing upon a star, hoping that prayers and political controlling will eventually yield reparations from Mzungu. He said, Rulers, who says, I'll message you later. It'll help. You want me to, Ruler 2, you want me to put my email in the chat so that, let me just put my email in the chat so you know what the message me real quick. Well, you know my emails. Just put it in the chat for me.
Oh, what was it again? It's Darius Lamb 2018 altogether?
Yes. But definitely we would really appreciate your work. Like I said, if you know any professionals, anybody who does marketing, anybody who's into political science, anybody who's into this stuff, please join the BAIO. We need you. Please sign up to the BAIO, BAIOAfricStan.org. I have my email in the chat. Hold up, just don't put it there. DariusLand2018@gmail.com. If you want to get in contact with me, if you would like to see, what's going on, what we can do, if we can set up, a conference maybe for next year or a virtual conference, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can bring all of these orgs together. There's so much we can do, but we really need your help. Flyers, if we send flyers and brochures, I'll see that, creating a manifesto. These are all things that, personally, I want to do, because we need to have this like a campaign. We got to have boots on the ground. This has to be like a campaign. We need to be viewing this like a referendum. Like, it's cool. All right. He said, I'll hit you on the message. Okay. All right. Just tell me what your name is, because I don't know what your name is. But for anybody else who may come across this and wants to know, just, you can email me, and then I'll be, you can respond to me. That's really what it is going forward. We got to look at this like it's a campaign. We can't look at this like, it's just an idea. No, it's got to be like a campaign issue, like we campaigning. Any other questions in the chat? Anything else y'all would like us to ask or answer? Hold up, you had any other statements, any closing statements? This is the time to ask. If not, we can close things out.
Yeah, I wanted to tell people that I put out a feeler for any sisters who are interested in committing to a weekly live stream. So if we can get a host and a co-host, 2 sisters, and it's going to be Sisters for Nationhood. We had that before, and we did a few shows. It's on the playlist. If you go to the BAIO Africstan YouTube channel, you'll see the playlist for Sisters for Nationhood. But we're trying to restart that up and get some sisters who can actually dedicate at least one day out of the week to doing a live stream. So if you interested in that, or you know any sisters who might be interested in it, you can hit us up at baioafricstan@gmail.com, or you can hit up Darius, or you can hit up me, holipsism@gmail.com.
She said get sisters from Liberia. I know a couple of sisters from Liberia that could help out, so I can do that. I have some sisters from the Liberian here in my community that we can get to do, a live stream to do. I may try to do that. Reach out to them and see if if they would can make some time. So we'll just have to see about that. But yeah, my closing remarks really is: if you're a Black professional, if you're a Black worker, we need you. You are important. You matter. There is a place for you to be. And with especially having Liberia in a nation of your own, you have the opportunity to grow, develop, and be in an environment where you can naturally exist without any fear of repercussion or dealing with, questioning your existence. So that's really all I have to say. Remember to like, share. I got like, share, subscribe, comment, join, baioafricstan.org/register. Oh, remember, we have our nightly meetings, the lounge. We're calling it the lounge this time. We're not gonna call it. We're not gonna call it this. We're gonna have it at the lounge. Okay, this is where everything is gonna be dropped at. So if you trying to be part of this, hit us up, sign up to the website, and you can be part of the lounge. Underrated Mind. It's gonna be at 7:30, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's usually when things happen. You can get there earlier. Underrated Mind usually comes in around 7 Eastern, but come to the lounge and you will not be disappointed. So that's all there is to it. Thank you to all the BLO family. Holub said, what separated your views on Liberia from those of fellow college-genicists who also call and chase on Liberia as an African-American hub? Differences with us is college is very disparaging to indigenous people. We don't see him as part of the BLO anyway, but the point of the matter is he's very condescending to indigenous Liberians. And one of the things that one person in the comment section in Facebook said was we had a more positive outlook than college Genesis did. And so we should not, his whole vision is just, yeah, like Black at Your Production said, that's all there needs to be said in the comment section when it comes to that matter.
I don't know who he's talking about.
Go ahead.
So
yeah. Yeah, he's just trying to, but unfortunately he's not gonna be able to. So
I'm not familiar with
that's
that.
all there is to it.
Not familiar with that person.
We just not like we left him a long time ago. It's in distant memory. You would have to work really hard for us to get back to it. But that's all there is. Remember, we have that meeting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Please come to the lounge. You will not regret it. If you have any other questions, hit us up. I'll have my email in the chat. Yeah, that's it. BL family, we're approaching the hour and 20-minute mark. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace, y'all.